Hey, everybody, and welcome to E Squared Empowerment with Elysia. I'm your host, Elysia Buss, and tonight we have the amazing Andrew Washington coming to us from New York. He is a comedic magician, an actor, and the host of The Truth on Staten Island television. I got that right, didn't I? Strong Island. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, Staten Island does seem like a strong island to me, so I guess it all just kind of comes together in my brain. And then you are also a ringside analyst for NAX for wrestling, which I find fascinating. It's such a different conversation to get to have. So we'll definitely have to jump into that for a minute. But Andrew, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
You are so welcome. And what a wide range of topics we get to cover today. We're talking about the special needs community, talking about authenticity and empowerment and being a dad and making people smile. So gosh, so many things that you're doing to positively impact the world. Thank you for everything that you're doing in your creative passions.
Well, thanks. I'm trying. I definitely do try. Smiles. You like to make people smile and laugh, and I just can't get enough of it. But oddly enough, growing up, I was the shy guy. I wouldn't even raise my hand in the classroom. Even though I know the answer, I just didn't like to speak out in front of people. I didn't like my voice on the answering machines back then. I didn't like my voice on the answering machines. I didn't want to be on camera. I'd actually start sweating if I had to go in front of a room to speak. Way different now. Way different.
I can definitely resonate with that. I remember the first time I heard my voice on a voicemail machine, and not on our cell phones, for those of you that actually still leave messages and set up your voicemail boxes, but way in the olden days when we had boxes that you hit the button on, the whole family got together around to listen to your voicemail messages. And I heard my voice on that and it blew my mind because I was just like, is that what I sound like? Like it was totally different than what I thought I sounded like in real life. Did you have that same experience?
Right. Kind of questions you, makes you not even want to talk like that. That I sound like that.
That's so fascinating.
No, I thought mine was terrible. I'm like, oh my God, I sound weird.
Well, I feel like I've always liked my voice, but it definitely was strange to hear it not right in my face, we're not here, right? And I was really shy when I was young. I was so shy. Let me tell you how shy I was. I was so shy.
How shy were you?
I was so shy that when I was around boys that I thought were attractive, if a boy in middle school came up and tried to talk to me, I would literally, I couldn't speak. I would start sweating and I turned bright red and I would stutter. And then I would, this is a true story. This is not an exaggeration. I would literally turn and run the opposite direction away from the boy that was trying to talk to me because I was so terrified.
That's crazy. That's kind of fun. That's a little different.
and then when I was speaking, when I was speaking in public though, even when I was getting my bachelor's degree in education, and trying to teach a lesson in front of my peers, like a group of 4 people, for instance, I would start sweating and shaking and stuttering. And I had so much anxiety. And so it was terrible. And that started in 7th grade when I had to do a presentation and these guys started barking at me in class. We had 3 classes combined. So it was 100 kids and nobody stopped them. And I eventually just ran away. And so that was my traumatic experience. But then I solved it by going to sing karaoke sober at dive bars in my 20s. That's how I overcame to a functional point.
Well, it's so bad. You went to the education field, and growing up at some point in life, I wanted to be a teacher.
Oh yeah.
Because I love to teach. I love to help people with something, and just to see someone get it after you've explained it to them, knowing they had no idea about it.
The aha moment.
Yeah, it's definitely a feeling that, it's gratifying.
It is.
But my fear of public speaking kept me. I actually dropped out of college because I couldn't do it.
Oh, wow.
So the fear was there, and it was great. And then this thing called TikTok helped me slowly transition to the point
Fascinating.
where I could speak in front of people. And this is, I got used to hearing my voice because I was making these videos constantly. So I'm hearing my voice over and over again. And then I'm seeing that people are starting to like my videos. And I watch my videos before I post them over and over again. So at that time, I got used to it. And then I started doing the lives on TikTok, like every day, 3 o'clock. You could find my lives back then. And then same people started coming in. I built up a little friendship with a group of people who I'm still friendly with now. We have never met each other.
Cool.
We sit and we stay in touch, via text messages or TikTok. And the comfort level just started building. And then people started saying, hey, can you come here? Can you come here? And now I cannot walk past the stage without getting on it. Like even at work, I have a stage and I'll walk past it and I'll just go around. So I have to go across the stage to go to the other. I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to it now.
That's so funny. So, like, how long have you been doing the TikTok videos for?
We're going on like January 27th was my first video to that hit 1 million views. So it was maybe 6 months prior to that. So maybe
A
like 2 years.
million views. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. It's actually at 1.2 million right now.
Well
Yeah,
done.
yeah. So just being silly. I actually just reposted it today because it's just a little over a year. So I just reposted it today, and it's already up to like 600 or some views already.
Amazing.
But yeah, open opportunity because people started like Dino losing energy drink. Like I'm a spokesman for them now. I have wherever they go and they're doing something, they call me, and I go. I do commercials for them, and it's all because of the TikTok, because of the views that I get when I do some silly stuff.
That's awesome. I love it. So when did you start doing the work as a magician? Like, did you just like grow up loving magic and
There's a couple of things about that. I was always fascinated about the magic. And then just out of high school, I took a job doing parties, and I was in costume, Bert and Ernie, Barney, Mickey Mouse, and then the Ninja Turtles I used to do often. And then they said, you want to learn some magic because everyone did a little bit of, small time magic. And I totally enjoyed it. But where I grew up, it wasn't that popular to be a magician. So it's like, you're going to dabble with the magic or you're going to hang with your boys on the street. And I went and I hung with my boys in the street and I put magic away. I kept dabbling, just for friends every now and then, but never anything, no parties or anything like that. And it was just before COVID came, I was bartending. And so I started just really to get back into it around January, just of the new year. I believe that was 2020. And I'm getting good with it. I'm starting to make videos and then post it on Facebook. And then COVID hit and locked my apartment and my store, my magic shop. There's not many magic shops around, but I happen to have one not too far from me. But they also sold CBD. So they were an essential store. Therefore, they were allowed to be open.
Oh, interesting.
So while many stores were closed, you couldn't do anything. I was able to go to my magic shop every day. And we had nothing else that we could do. So I was going to the magic shop. I was learning stuff, sitting back home. And then it just blossomed and formed. I started doing parties. And then I was like, wow, I got good at this without doing magic for like 20 years. I'm like,
Wow.
and it was probably just understanding more and like really now I'm doing it because I really want to make this my career. So I was learning and paying attention to things, the more detailed things. So it's incredible. I still do the same trick. My very first trick that I learned, I still do to this day. And oddly enough, the magic shop I'm hired out to perform for, the ones that have my magic kit, is also the first store I ever purchased the magic trick from in
Oh,
19.
so sweet.
So yeah,
When was it?
I
19.
just no, I slid that in there.
Uh-huh.
Slip up. You
That's
see, if you didn't hear it the first time, I ain't doing it again. Wow. Sorry.
yeah, so it was, and you have your two daughters. So like,
Yeah.
how do they feel about you being a magician?
It's it's turning. We're at the turning point now. Before it was like my little Addison, my youngest one, she was like, "Dad, you're scaring me." My oldest daughter thought it was really cool. She wanted to learn a couple of things, so I showed her a couple of things. Then I found out she was telling everybody the secrets when she went to school, so that ended that. But now it's like I showed my daughter a trick. I just recently made a video today. I sent it to her, and her favorite thing is what the and the question mark. And she's starting to turn. She just called me the other day, said, "Dad, I just showed all my friends in school your magic." I said, "Where?" My magic's all over. I said, "Where?" She's like, "On TikTok." I said, "Oh Lord." Because not all kid friendly stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. Like, why are you on my TikTok? You know? But no, she's really good. Anytime I go live, she jumps on. So she's really turning and really embracing like the stuff that's going on with Dad. It's like really cool. Like we were supposed to go to the Air Force Base yesterday, and we were getting a private tour, but the weather was not good, so the planes were grounded. So we didn't end up getting to go. But there's some things that are opening up, and they think it's cool. Now they think it's cool. They still want no parts of the magic, but which I'm kind of, I don't know. It's like, you want your child to do what you do. And I don't know. But someone told me, actually, Neil Patrick Harris, I just did Magic for 2 weeks ago.
Amazing.
And
Love him.
and he was a president of Magic Society for 3 years. But like a lot of people don't know that he is like a pretty good, accomplished magician himself.
Wow.
And he told me, he said, you can't make someone want to learn magic. It has to come within them. And he's absolutely right. Because I was telling him the same thing about my daughters. He was with his kids. So I'm like, how's the day? He's like, they really don't see anything. So I'm like, wow, it's interesting. He's also the one who got me in the entertainment bug when I was a kid. So it was kind of cool having him there and doing magic for him. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really special. What as a grown man as you are, do you sometimes have negative experiences with other men, especially when you tell them what you do?
Often.
They're just like,
Um,
you're
um,
you're a
it's not one of my better moments, but oftentimes, like, I try new stuff out at bars and things like that. And I used to bartend at a local bar. So I was in there trying, and this guy was so baffled, like he went and reached for my coins right away. And my magic, I you can't touch my stuff. You look at it, but don't touch it. So when I was done, the dude said, "Can I have my finger back?" I said, "My bad. It was just a reaction, man. Don't reach for my." I just grabbed his hand and I just twisted that, like, "Don't touch my stuff." But guys think he's like, "Oh, you're a magician. Can you make this disappear?" I said, no, I can't. But then I do stuff and they're like, "Wow." And then of course, if the girls involved watching it, then they stand a little closer. I said, "Don't worry, buddy, man. Don't worry." So oftentimes it's not a great experience when guys are around because it's this testosterone thing, because they can't do it. Then they feel like they have to poke their chest out. And
Mm.
but then they think they can figure it out. So hecklers are mostly the guys, and they learn quickly. I am the worst person you want to heckle. I am the worst, because I will stop my show mid-show, go up to you and say, "Oh, you can do it here." And then they sit frozen. Uh, I can't. Well, then you should keep your mouth closed. And then I'll go back and I'll ask them, I said, "Do I have your permission to go back doing what I know how to do?" And so I make you feel really bad about opening your mouth, but not in a rude way. So I have issues.
Okay, you call people out, basically. That's what that sounds like to me. You're just like, don't mess with my show, man.
Yeah, just
If you
out,
think
man.
you can do a better job, then like get up here. Otherwise, like shut
Right.
up.
And that's the thing that I do. And right in the middle of my thing, like if you think you can do better, like if I take my card, like I did take my card and I go like this, and then I make it pop. And they said, "Oh, I know how you do this behind your hand." I said, "Here, then do it." "Oh, I can't." "Then shut up."
Yeah. Simple
Yeah,
boundaries. Simple boundaries. Yeah,
yeah,
and I mean, like, because you were talking originally when we were in transition about how you gave up magic because you were going to go be with your guys on the street.
yeah. That wasn't a good plan.
Yeah.
Not a good choice. But that's what it was. It's like I grew up with these people, these kids. We were kids, and now we're teenagers. I always enjoyed. I was into sports. I was a heavy soccer player. I was in Europe when I was 12 years old playing soccer. I've been in England
Wow.
playing Ireland playing golf. I'm heavily into sports, but being home was my release from everything because I was on pretty good teams and expected to do well.
Right.
So as a child, we weren't getting paid for it. I mean, I even had the thing, my dad, he's like, if you don't score a goal, you don't eat dinner.
Wow.
But I don't know if he meant it because I always score. I don't know if he meant
You're
it.
like, I like to eat. I'm gonna
Yeah,
score.
that's I do love to eat. I really do love to eat. So, but yeah, there's things that motivate you. There's things that push you. But yeah, eating was one of them. It was one of them. So it was that I wanted to hang out with my friends. I do the magic for them, and it was like it didn't catch their eye. Now, if you're doing something and somebody's, let's like being a stand-up comedian in a room and nobody's laughing. You have a 20-minute set, but
I'm like, I've been there, like good sets and bad sets,
so,
just being in that room when like nobody's hitting that night. For like
yeah,
out of all the comedians that are there, except for like maybe one person, like yeah, that's not fun.
or you cut your set from 15 minutes to 5 minutes just to get off the stage. So that's what it was like doing my magic for my friends. It's like
Mm,
they weren't getting it. They didn't care. It wasn't cool. So I'm like, if I'm not getting the reaction that I'm looking for from them, then why should I keep doing it?
yeah,
So, but that was my little area. I wasn't expanding further out where I could have probably gotten a different reaction.
totally.
And I didn't think I was that good. I like it not too long ago. I still tell people I'm not that good, but like you see, I look, I'm looking across the room. I'm like, I'm not that good, but I have my own magic kit. You know what I mean? Like these guys put a magic kit together and they sell us with my name, my picture, my face on it. So it's like, but that makes me go harder because I still don't think I'm that good, but everyone else does. So it's like,
Well, we're usually our own worst critic, and many people, regardless of their profession, oftentimes have imposter syndrome. So,
with magic, that you're very true with that. But magic, a lot of it's different, right? Because if I'm doing a new trick and I'm watching it, they tell me at the magic shop, you said you're watching like a magician. I said, I am a magician. I said, but you have to look at it as a spectator.
mm,
Um, when I'm doing stuff and I see some things that shouldn't be seen, I won't do the trick. But I see them. I see them because I have the trained eye to see them. You wouldn't see them. So I work on tricks and it sounds funny, but until I fool myself.
it doesn't
So,
sound funny. I get
so
it.
but so I'll sit there and when I watch the video, I'm like, oh, okay. We're going with that one. With that. But then I have a closet full of tricks that I put away because I didn't like how it looked, but people love it. So
Mm,
I won't go out there. If I'm going out to do a trick, you can bet that I'm nailing this trick. So yeah, it's an edge. I push myself. I have to. I'm not settling for being the local magician. If that's what happens, that's what happens. But I'm not. That's not where I'm shooting for. I have my bar set high, and I'm not stopping.
No,
Not until I
I
get.
love that. So like with magicians, so in sports, you oftentimes will have particular players that are in direct competition with one another. Do you have that same sort of thing in the field of magic?
I don't have that as far as competition wise. First of all, I feel that all my buddies that are magicians, I feel they're all better than I am. When I'm in the room or around, I tell them I'm the least talented person in the room. I have some people that are like Eric Jones. He does magic for one of the cruise lines. He was a finalist in America's Got Talent. He flew Penn and Teller. I meet this guy on the bowling alley in Pennsylvania, just sit and talk magic, and it's incredible where some people are, because while he's out, there's nothing to do with magic. I mean, this guy's his career is magic, and it's a little different because for me, it's every day, all day when I'm at work. Part of the things I do at work is magic, and that attracts more people in. It's like I eat, breathe, sleep magic, and we don't have a competition. I just like I want to learn more.
Yeah.
So one of my buddies down in Washington D.C., he's got this coin trick, and he puts his hand like this, and you watch the coin go from this hand up to this one. So I watched it on TikTok for the first time, and I went right to my phone. I was like, "Yo, bro, I need to know how you did that." And he's like, "No problem." I still don't know because I don't want. I want to put effort and try to figure it out. And I'm not really that fond of asking people to show me how they do their tricks. There's a lot of tricks out there that are generic, but everyone puts their own twist on them, and that's probably what this is. So, like even when I learn a new trick, they always give you a pattern. It's what it's called. Like the words that you use while you're delivering the trick is called a pattern. So they give you a basic pattern to go with the trick, and I never go with that because I have to be me. I
Yeah.
have to be so. Oftentimes, like when I put a new trick, you see just the mechanics of it, like on TikTok or something with music. It's because I don't have the words yet to go with it,
Fair
and
enough.
it's also not good on social media. Nobody wants to listen to you, and the trick, if it's not a 15-second or less trick, you lost them already.
It's amazing how short people's attention span oftentimes is from everything I've heard. They're like, you got like 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah,
What?
like some of the like the video where I have 1.2 million is 13 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the time I have, and that's what helps. Is that I'm learning all this, and I'm sure you know a lot of this because with the algorithms behind things, because you don't have a little badge following yourself there on social media. So, but the algorithms, a lot is goes by view time and shares. So if your video is getting a lot of shares, the algorithm are producing more and more people's pages. Now, if your view time is 100%, it's going on every page. So the best way to get 100% viewing is to do a 7-second, a 15-second video. If you can't sit there and watch for 15 seconds, you really have a problem. So those are some of the things, and people, you should pay me for giving you these tips on social media, because it took me a lot of time, trial and tribulation. It was like, why is this video? And oftentimes you make a video that you think is dynamite and nobody likes it. Then you
I
make a
am
video,
familiar with this situation.
then you throw a video out there that you just thought, I'm just gonna make one and throw it out there, and 1.2 million. It's I don't get it. Starting to get it a little bit, but it's important. If this is the life I would choose, it's important because I need to get my stuff out in front of as many people as possible. Because yeah, there's one right person who's going to see it, and I know that. So I give 110% if I have 7 people in a room or 700. Because one of those people, I just need one person to be the right person.
Absolutely. I've definitely found that to be true. I'm curious, in your experience in the world of magic, are there very many people of color in the world of magic?
There are not, and it's kind of weird that we don't even have like many to show on television. I
Hmm.
know of a few because like this guy Eric Jones put me in touch with some, because it's important to him to try to bring the culture into it and keep it alive. There's a couple of guys that I deal with, and one of them, I don't know him. We don't really chat that much, but I watched a lot of his stuff, and he just recently posted something from back at like early 1900s, and it was a woman of color, and she was a magician, and some other thing that she did, but you'd never hear about that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's things that I'm learning, but there's an underworld, there's an underground little world. But one of the things that we've talked about is dealing with racism.
Yeah.
It's hard as a black musician for me to go get a spot in a bar, a spot in this club, a spot in this restaurant, because one, they see that I'm a black guy, and they just okay. They expect me not to be good. The first impression is not that I'm a good magician. So if a Caucasian guy comes in and he's a magician on stage, everyone's ready. It's like, oh, this guy's going to be good. But if a black guy comes out on stage and he's a magician, what's he going to do? What gimmick does he have?
It's weird. I mean, it's weird to me just because that's not how my brain operates. So like,
right.
Right.
It's weird, but that's reality, and that's part of the reason why I'm going so hard at this.
Yeah.
Because I believe in myself, and really that's all that matters. If I believe I can do it, I will, and that's been how I've operated my whole life.
Great,
but
very good perspective.
I want to open up people's eyes.
Yeah,
there's a lot. We'll go over here. That trophy case right there. So there's a first place golf trophy. People don't expect me to play golf. I go to golf tournaments and I win. Okay, I ski. I play ice hockey. This is what I moved. I'm the head coach of a hockey team. I was head coach of a college hockey team. I've been to England playing hockey and won a man of the match trophy I have there from England. So I drive race cars. So when people say that, they tell me, I've heard that, I said, that you're the whitest black guy I've ever met in my life.
Oh my goodness.
So that's what I get a lot. But it's got to the point where it's not a negative. It's like, instead of them, what they want to say is, wow, I don't know any black people that do that.
Yeah.
So that's the way. I was like, it's, and when I say hockey coach, yes, hockey. Roller hockey, no, ice hockey. Yeah. And so it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but everything that I do tends to be in an area that's not common for people like me to be doing it. So I have to come at it that much harder than you. I have harder than you to get less of a reaction than you do. So that's why I do it. So when I absolutely know and can read groups and room. So if there's a few people on that side of the room that I see not feeling it, most people shy away from them. I go up to them. Because now when I bring something to your face, you really, really, really have a hard time like not being like, wow. So I'll get, at first I wasn't, but you got me. I said, oh, I know. I can tell you exactly when I saw it in your face. And I'll get you. I'll get it. Don't worry. That's the thing. I walk into anything, I know I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to kill it. And even if I don't feel it 10 minutes before the show, I know I'm going to kill it, because it's not like me to let somebody down or let myself down or do a shitty performance. So
because you love to make people smile.
Yeah, I messed up tricks before. I've messed up tricks before. One of my first big performances, one of my finale, did not go the way it was supposed to, but nobody knows, because I don't panic. I don't bug out. I make a joke about the situation. And I said, nah, I really wasn't going to do that. I just was playing around, and I'll go get another one. I always have another one ready for a back finale.
Smart.
So, but I'm just so determined. I am so driven. I like it. I am so locked in right now. It's crazy.
That's really
It's
beautiful, because then like you're being a really positive role model for other people, to be able to be like, this is what I feel passionate about. I'm showing up as my authentic self. And we call those permissionaries, because by you stepping forward and sharing that life with other people, you are giving them permission to do the same, for them to share their own personal story, for them to share that that's a desire for them to do something similar to what you're doing. Be like, well, he did it, so maybe I can do it too.
and that's really what I want to accomplish with this magic kit. So where I work out in East Hampton. I don't know if you guys have like Dave and Buster's around.
I have no idea what that is, so no.
Dave and Buster's. It's all right. Well, forget about them. I don't work for them. So I work at the clubhouse in East Hampton, and it's a very large facility. We have 10 lanes of bowling. We have 3 bars, a restaurant, an arcade center, a redemption center, outdoor bar, miniature golf. We have everything. And
Redemption
indoor
Center, what is that?
redemption center is like where you get prizes for your tickets.
Okay.
So we get prizes for like some of the arcade games give you tickets for the games you play, you know. So some of these kids like save up and like 30,000 tickets. By the way, my magic kit is 4,000 tickets. So yeah.
What is
It's
that
up
in
there.
dollars?
Um how it goes is it's about every $10 is about 100 points.
Oh, wow.
So because I'm in charge of that, I know the breakdown, so I could tell you that because no one else can answer that question. But yeah, I do enough with the pricing and all that. So I'm out there, and some of the kids that are getting the magic sets now are coming back to show me what they've done. I have one kid who comes back every Sunday now, and he works with me for a couple of hours behind the counter every Sunday now. And that's the positive that you're talking about that I like to do. I want somebody at one point before I leave this earth to say they got into magic because of me. If one person does it, I'm successful in my mission.
You might
So
have already been successful in your mission.
I might have, but then you know what? If I do get that one, I say, okay, now I want 2. I'm never gonna.
You're like, I
Never
just
gonna.
choose not to be satisfied.
No, and then then I'll get a show of 5 guys who I turned on the magic will put on a show. So yeah, I'm always gonna look for the next step.
Next level. Like you hosting The Truth
Oh my
on the
God, what
Long
a
Island television. So tell us a little bit, like, when did you get into that, and what is it about, and like what's the why you're up there with Frank Carrera? And
this is an incredible ride that I'm on with the show right now. We just this coming Monday is going to be our 17th episode, which ends our first. I broke things down into quarters just so I can keep sponsorships lined up. Everything. It's a business model that I put together for this. I've never done this before, but knowing a lot about business and understanding if I'm going for a sponsor's not going to want to pay me for a calendar year, but maybe I can get them to lock in for 4 months. So that's why I broke it down. So now I have another sponsor coming on for the next 17, 18 weeks. And it flows with the season. So now my lawn and sprinkler guys are coming to join for this next one because that's going to go. So I really, really put a lot of thought into what I was doing. I've never have done this before. So I based it, my thought was off of Seinfeld, a show about nothing.
I love Seinfeld.
I didn't want to put any specifics to it because then you're locked in. One of my tags in the thing is we talk about anything, we bring information, we will publicize anything, but we will not talk about politics.
I love it. So, that's same. I'm just like, we don't talk about politics on my
show. So that's off. And oddly enough, I have somebody on a couple of weeks ago who's running for president for 2024. But we did it in a way where it wasn't political, but it's still towards what I say I'm doing. I'm giving people information.
Right.
Okay. So here's a guy that's running for president. You may or may not like him. I don't care. But I want you to know about him so you have a fair you make a fair decision, because ultimately she ain't right now. So I'm doing everything. 17 people can come at me. I'm like, yo, here, these guys are running for pick, please find one. Please find, right, anybody, just find one. So that's where I'm not a left guy. I'm not a right guy. I'm a me guy, and that's it. I don't give two hoots about what your views are. I could date you even if you voted for the orange guy. I could date you even if you voted for the stupid guy. It doesn't matter. That's your belief, but and not everybody can mesh together. But as long as you can coexist, like I've never lost one person over this nonsense, because I'm an adult.
What?
So
hold on.
You know how many people have lost friendships over political views?
It's true, and it's important for us to be able to
And
be kind.
You weren't my friend. If you can leave because I don't think like you weren't my friend.
It's an interesting journey that we work with ourselves to be compassionate for people and their bandwidth and what they're going through, and how many people come to a space of reactivity where they struggle to be able to make logic-based decisions that are in alignment with their values, because they're too overwhelmed by everything. And so they shut down, they disassociate, instead of being able to come to a healthier space to work through things. And so it can be traumatic for people to go through that on all sides. And yeah, it's definitely a heart-wrenching experience. So I'm glad that you're in a space where you've been able to communicate and hold that space for the people that you engage with in a way that's functional for all.
We can't all be alike. Really. We can't all be alike. We can't all think.
But yeah, I mean, the world would be a very boring place. I mean, if everybody was the same. And so
it would be boring.
It would be boring. For instance, like, boring is not what you do, because another one of the things that you do, which is very interesting, is being the ringside analyst for NAX wrestling, where apparently you do try to instigate shit, which you don't do in the political realm. So in that transition of how you like amp people up, tell us a little bit about that entire situation, because I think most of my audience is like, I don't know anything about this, and what are you talking about right now?
All right. So growing up, there was a Saturday morning wrestling that we had. It was the WWF back then. And there was an announcer called Mean Gene Okerlund.
Okay.
He was a ring announcer. He interviewed the guys backstage before they came out. He interviewed them afterwards. I was a big kid when I was growing up. I was always the biggest of the group of kids. But something happened when I got to high school where I stopped. I'm probably the same size I was in 8th grade right now.
I have been the same height since I was 10 years old. No joke. I'm 5'4", and I stopped growing height-wise when I was 10.
But everybody else kept going.
I got to be super tall for like a minute. My body was very confused. Like, my boobs didn't come in until I was like 15. My period started when I was like 13, and my feet didn't stop growing until I was like 18. I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah. I watched everybody grow up. So I went from the biggest kid in school, one of like average. Now everyone's like, "Hey, shorty," I still smack you. Shut up.
How tall are you now?
I'm 5'9" now. I lie and say, yeah, that's on my license. It's legit. It's legit. So Mean Gene Okerlund was this guy that doing the announcing. And I realized, like, watching, I think, oh, I want to do that. Like, I want to be into wrestling because it was cool walking out of the curtain, 15,000 chant or booing, whatever they're doing. But I realized my size wasn't there for it. And I'm watching these guys come in, and I'm always comparing size to them. I'm like, well, but the guys my size never really did that well. And like you see, I'm not stupid. So if there's something I'm going for and I realize I'm really not going to do that well in it, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So I have something still within wrestling to keep me involved, keep me still around the wrestlers, keep me around the ring, keep me in the ring, and keep me safe. And that was announcing. And so that was a dream that I had. I always had. And now I had a wrestler on my show who happens to have his own wrestling company. And he didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what he was going to do. By the way, he's 6'11". And I started talking shit to him on my set. And I'm like, yo, dude, you're a wrestler. I ain't afraid of you, though. So he stood up. I stood up. One of the best pictures we have is we standing chest to chest. I'm like, my throat, because that's what I had to do. So I'm shoving him around. He's like, yo, man, I like you. He's like, you got balls. I said, yeah, man. So we didn't talk about it. I didn't know this guy at the time. And I just said, you know what? I'm going for it. And I went to his event in Clifton, New Jersey. And, I also threw the little beef in there on Facebook, talking stuff, think you all that. You ain't that. You could come on my show, push me around. I'll show you. Right. So I go to his show in Jersey, and we're talking. I'm doing some interviews with the guys. And, he liked, how I was handling myself with them. I'm doing this all on my own. There's no one say, here, do this, do this. I said, no, I watched my whole life. I waited for this my whole life. I know what to do. So I did it, and it was great. And at one point, he's like, that stuff you popping on Facebook, we need to squash that. We need to do something about it. Oh, okay. So he's like, we go downstairs, we can do an interview, and this can go one way or it can go the other way. One of the ways you're going to get hurt. And then, of course, I said, man, you can't hurt. I said, stop talking, and we can go to the ring right now. I mean, if you talk, you can bluff, man. You can bluff. Bluff my way out of that one. So he's like, all right, so we're going to do this, and I'm going to push you around. We're going to see where it goes. So we do this interview, and then he goes to shake my hand, and he just had cornrows in his head. Like I said, 6'11", big dude. He played Andre the Giant in the movie The Brawler. Okay. So he goes to shake my hand, and I look at it, and I smack his hand out of the way. And I say, nice cornrows you got there. And then next thing you know, there was a shoving match. He's pushing me, the camera's rolling, I'm down on the ground, everyone's holding us back. I said, you came on my show talking shit, and he's kicking at me. I said, I don't care where. It was great. So he came, I had a holiday special around December. He came, and he offered me a spot to join NAX Wrestling. And of course, I said yes. I ate it up. I knew about 3 weeks prior, but we were waiting till the show to make the announcement. Those are the most agonizing 3 weeks.
You're like, I can't tell anybody.
It's like, even I got this show coming up on Monday, this stuff going down, it's going to be huge. I'm like, can't tell. I'm the worst. I'm the worst with surprises. Like, if I buy a surprise gift or something, I have to buy it like a day or two before. Because if I get it a week before, you're getting it.
You're like, I can't, it's too hard.
yeah, you're getting it. So yeah, that's how I got into NAX Wrestling. That's one of the things, one of the 600 things I'm doing. Yeah,
that's super cool, and it's just like, it's fun. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the special needs community. So do you ever have the special needs kids come down to the wrestling matches?
Well, this actually, Clifton, New Jersey, May 21st is the next event. That's going to be my actual first event with them. I've done
the special needs kids.
No, with the wrestling. Like
with the wrestling. I see.
It's like Scoops, Washington. Now, there's a twist. If you ever saw the toy, the reporter, the toy was a Richard Pryor, and then I forget who played the kid actor, but the kid actor always wanted to be a reporter. So Richard Pryor gave him the name Scoop.
Okay.
So as a reporter. So me doing the reporting was like, Scoop is kind of good. So we adapted the Scoop. So we wanted to throw a little flavor into it. So I'm Scoop Washington.
Okay.
So now but I have also, I got to have another side of me. So Scoop Washington becomes Scoop Dog. I become Scoop Dog.
Doggy.
Yeah. So right? But no, I've never had the special needs guys. I've done a lot with the special needs. I used to be a residential coordinator, then a director for group homes for those with special needs. I actually took two agencies, brought them together, and started a soccer program. As I told you, I was big into soccer.
Yeah.
Um, and it was one of the organization I worked for is called FREE, Family Residence and Essential Enterprises. So the acronym is FREE. And the other one is DDI, Developmental Disabilities Institute. So I combined these two and came up with a soccer program and a soccer team that we did weekly for them to give them more activities to be outside and use some more of their motor skills. And we named it Free D Kickers. Free for my agency, the DDI for their agency. And then I had the mascot, it was Tony the Tiger kicking a soccer ball.
Oh, I love it.
So I like to play on names like the softball team was the Freeloaders, you know. So which we got I got the championship trophy right there. So yeah, we started from nothing and we won, and that's everything I do. I started in special needs as a supervisor, and like 3 months later I was promoted. I've never been in the field before, but it's something I took with the individuals. I've always been around some of the individuals growing up. One of my neighbor across the street, she worked with the population and had some of the folks at her house. So I've always been around them. And then it's just, I had a behavioral house. It was a girls' house, behavioral. It was 19 to 25. These girls all aged out of, because that's a big problem that we're having too. Not only in the mental locations, but for the people with special needs, they're just throwing them out. These people just get thrown out. They're too much for the family to handle. Just because they turned a certain age, now they're not eligible for the programs and the benefits that come.
Yeah.
So that's where these group homes come from, but they're also taking away from the institutional like type setting, which is good because it wasn't good. It just wasn't good for anybody back then. So now these kids aged out and these girls are behavioral. I've never had a behavior while I was there. And it's just because of how I talk to them. I did not treat it like a job. I treated them like they were my family. I talked like they were my family. Sometimes it was borderline how I talked to them, but they understood. And my kids, my daughter, my Olivia, she was born back around then, and I had them playing with her. Now these girls could snap at any moment, and people are like, yo, you leave your kids? I said, yeah. If you show them that you believe in them and you trust them, just like you would anybody else, they will act exactly how you want them to act. But if you treat them like, oh, you're scared, they're going to do that just because they know what you're like. And sometimes they might do it just to play with you.
Yeah.
And like people don't understand. I believe the special needs population are way smarter than we are. They're way smarter than me. They channel their stuff in different ways. Maybe they can't express it, but they channel their thoughts in different ways, and they know how to manipulate every single person they come in contact with. You have to be smart to do that. But you teach them, and you're like, that's not good. And they say, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, just don't say sorry. But I swear I love them so much because it taught me a lot. It taught me patience when I was let's say my daughter was just born. It taught me patience, but I have zero. I have no patience. To this day, I have zero. Outside of my children and those guys, I have no patience. So my ex-father-in-law used to call me Andrew Now, because if I wanted something, yeah, I want it now. That's what I'm asking now, because I want it now.
So part of your journey is learning patience.
No, it's not. No, there's some things that you have to understand is just who you are. And it's just me not to have patience. But I believe that helps build who I am. So if I give that up, I might change something that helped me get to where I am. So I don't need patience. I don't need patience. I don't need patience. Well, just get away from me. Just go away. I don't need patience. And I
Oh.
tell you that. And like, my show is called The Truth because I would tell you that. I said, I really don't want to talk to you. Can you just leave him? And you just go away. But can you show me a magic trick? Google it. I want to see your chat. I have enough one on his social media. Just go look at one. Yeah, I just want to. I don't have any patience. There's things I have to learn because I'm starting my local community. I'm starting to get bothered a little bit out there. But there's a lot of folks know me from my special needs guys. I used to bring them to my house. I used to do. It's just something I love. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do that. But I know I have patience because when I dealt with them, it's not even an issue. I couldn't have moved up the ladder so quickly if I didn't have what it takes to deal with them. So now when I see somebody out, I go out of my way just to acknowledge them and not be the person or that are afraid of them. So with my kids growing up the way they did, when they see a special needs kid or someone in the store or whatever, it's not a stare. They understand. It's not like they'll say hi. They understand. So I know I did the right thing with how I was raising them and bringing them around. Like I said, a lot of people are afraid to bring they keep looking at that clock and fight you. I do the same thing on my show. My eyes pop up. I read everything. How much time we got? Are we good?
So who inspires you in the world today?
You.
Ah.
Who inspires me? I have a few magician friends. Ron Diamond is one of them. He's the owner of my magic shop. It just his journey, what he's done. He's such a great guy. He's such a nice guy. I tell him just today, I said, Ron, I wish I had your talent with my personality. I said, I'd be the best magician in the world. Eric Jones is another magician who definitely inspires me. And then there's the guy in DC, young kid, but he tell me his stories and some of the things that he's had to fight through to get to where he is. But one of my biggest inspirations in life is Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey has an amazing story. And he earned every right to be as cocky and on his high horse as he, because what he did to get through it. Before Steve Harvey made it, he was on his way home. He was calling home to tell his father that he was coming home, but checked his voicemail first. And there was a message from the Apollo saying, can you get to New York? We want you to be on the show. He couldn't get to New York. And he was still calling his dad, but there was another message that came in while he was on the phone. And it was somebody in Florida saying, listen, we're going to pay you $150 to get to this show. He's like, wow, I can get to New York. He got to Florida, he drove, and then they gave him another day. So now he has $300. He gets to New York, and the comedians there were just coming out. There's Jamie Foxx, D.L. Hughley. These guys have never been heard of before. They go out there and they get booed off stage. Steve Harvey goes out there and gets a standing ovation. From that, he got an opportunity to be the whole audition for the host. Now, mind you, while all this was happening, he was living in his car. He was living in his car when all of this was going on. So he went from his car to stardom because he did what he had to do. He fought. He did not let anybody tell him he can't do it. They made fun of his lips. He didn't care. He brought his lips into it. And that's what I do. People have something they make fun of me. I got a big lip. I don't care, but I'm big enough to kiss you with. Well, you have to embrace what you have. So I embrace what I have. I can't change it. I used to walk around when I was young like this to try to think I was going to get my lip to go in. So I didn't. I learned to embrace it. And Steve Harvey, he's done. He's. I want to be him. I want to be him. His dress, his style of dress is sharp, sharp. Before he went bald, he never had hair out of place. He used to travel. I found out he used to travel with a barber. So anytime before he was going on, he took the scissors out. That's why when he was on TV, you never saw one little curl out of place. But that was a detail that he paid attention to, because if you look good, you feel good, you're going to be good. So yeah, Steve Harvey's the one. If I can meet him, oh man. And I do this magic trick. I saw somebody do a magic trick to him, and I got mad. Because I want that opportunity. I want that opportunity. So the magic trick was really cool. And it's one of the one I went out and I learned it. I went out and learned it, and that's one of my finales now. I just anything with Steve Harvey, and yeah. So when I get to meet him, and I'm going to do that trick to him, I said, I heard you scream like a girl with this before, so I have a little bit of a twist to it. And you notice I said when I meet, I know I'm going to get there to get a chance to meet him. So if you believe that you might not, one day you won't. So I know I will meet him, and I'll get to tell him what he did for me. You know, watching his shows, watching the Apollo, this hosting stuff. That Steve Harvey. Now I have an opportunity to host a red carpet event. So it's like I'm really not emulating what he did, because I don't want to go through his steps. This is my world, my game. I want to have my own steps, but I remember what he did, and I want to pull stuff from everybody. I want to pull stuff. And this is how they say, fake it till you make it. I'm faking the shit out of it.
Well, my friend, where can people find you in the world? How can we get a hold of you to do shows or whatnot?
I just recently got my website up and going. www.andrew- whatever you want to put it, Washington.com. There's information up there for the NAX wrestling, for the truth, for my lawn care. I have a lawn care business too. And then there's stuff up there for my magic. So you could feedback there, TikTok, Instagram. I am killing it on TikTok. I mean, I don't like to say how many people, because a lot of people usually have more than me, but I have 39.8 thousand followers on TikTok alone. Awesome. And that's pretty good. The Instagram is up there. It's CGYS26. I try to make it simple. So CGYS26 on Instagram, CGYS26 on TikTok, and my group on Facebook is CGYS Magic and Laughs.
There you go.
That is the truth.
So many different places to find you. Well, Andrew, I really appreciate your time and your candor, and again, all the things that you're doing to help support others and make them laugh and smile.
Well, I appreciate what you do, especially this month where you're doing to bring some awareness to things. I really do appreciate it. That's kind of how we came about. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I don't care who you are, what you do, and if you're doing something cool, I'm going to try to help you out. Often people don't need my help, but it's, what else do you say? Hey, can I help make you bigger? No, I just want to help you out, get your name out there, let everybody know what you're doing. So that's why we got to work on a date. We had one, but things came up, but we are going to have you on our show. Yes, we are going to get that together, and that's what we do. This is a small community that we're in with this podcast thing. It's not really small, but it's small. In fact, the people who are doing it actually because they care.
Yeah.
And that's the circle that I have. Michelle Asta, she's there. She's got a Disturbed and Confused. Cindy Savelle is coming out with her show. It is what it is.
I will also be on.
Yeah, you'll also be on. We have Teresa with Tea Time. There's Valentina, she's got the Breakfast Club. All of these people do this stuff because they care. What they learned about me is like, I'm going to do this too, but I want to be better than all of you. I love you all, but I want to be better than you all. I'm sorry, but I let it know. It's just not, second place is the first loser.
I just think of it that with an abundance mindset, that we all have something that is equal yet different to offer.
Yeah, but mine's gonna stand out.
Just to all just be equal and different. 'Cause
But that's
everybody offers something that another person can't.
yeah,
Because their
absolutely.
life story is different.
Yes,
And
yes, yeah.
that's the beautiful thing about it, and getting to come together and support and highlight so many different perspectives and life stories.
Well, that's the thing. I've heard so many interesting stories that even last week, child actors getting beat up and bullied in school because of a role they played in the movie. You know, these guys played the Goodfellas. They thought he was a tough guy because he played Goodfellas, so he got beat up when he was home.
That's really unfortunate, and that's why, just there is a difference between reality and TV, and being able to differentiate between the two. But I'm really glad that we get to have our shows and bring truth forward in a positive light for people. And if anybody else is interested in being on my show or having me on their show or working with me for empowerment coaching with or without horses, please do contact me at www.globalequineaffiliates.com, or you can find me on Facebook for Elysia Jane Buss, or on Instagram at Elysia Buss. So thank you again, everybody, for watching. And thank you again, Andrew, for being on the show. And until next time, everybody, we will see you later. Bye.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.